Hi, welcome back to the Crypto Dave YouTube channel. Now today I'm going to do a video on how to mine Helix, which is a pretty new staking slash Masternode coin. And if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about the project, their website, all these links will be, as always, in the description below. But the website is helix-crypto.com. This gives you information about the project. This is how you'll kind of grab the wallet and stuff like that. It gives you information about the project. So it's well worth having a look at the website if you are interested in mining this, and also jump on the Discord group. So that's probably the best way of getting information. So it's a relatively active Discord. It's a new coin. It only launched at the beginning of September, and it launched basically from some members of the Beancash community who were not very happy with the direction that Beancash was taking. So they decided to develop their own coin. They've been talking about it, or it's been in planning for about 5 or 6 months now. I stumbled across the kind of community a few kind of months ago when it was kind of very early stage, and they actually launched at the beginning of September. And the interesting thing about this crypto is that it's going to be a staking and masternodes cryptocurrency, but the first few blocks, so the first 90,000 blocks are mineable. So this is using the quark algorithm, so it's GPU mineable, which is fantastic. So those of us who were doing GPU mining before will know that it's pretty much not profitable anymore. So sometimes the only alternative you have, and if you want something to be profitable, is to take a punt at an early project, and this is basically what this is. So I'm not suggesting it's a crypto that's going to kind of change the world or anything like that. Obviously I'm not advising people to go out and invest in projects or anything like that, but it's an interesting project. I kind of like what they're doing. I like the team and the community behind it. It's a small community at the moment, but hopefully it will grow. And if you're in at the beginning like we are now, there's a sort of 2-3 month mining period right at the beginning. We scroll down here, you can have a look at the proof of stake kind of rewards. So you'll see here between blocks 201 and 90,200, it's proof of work. So it's using quark, as I mentioned before, 111 block reward. And then after that, it will be a mixture of proof of stake and masternodes. So you can see here, masternodes in the first column, stakers. There'll be a 15 Helix reward going on, and then it reduces down over time until there's no rewards from the sort of 58.5 million block onwards. Anyway, there's lots of information on the website. If you are interested, have a look at this, and this is how you download your wallet. So if you are interested in mining this, as I say, it's a bit of a punt, a very early coin, but because it's quite a new coin, the hash rate and stuff like that is not very big. So if you want to jump in, you don't want to kind of invest in a proof of stake or masternodes coin, this gives you a chance to maybe mine it. If you've got some GPU rigs sitting around, you could switch them on for a few days, mine some coins, and then keep hold of those for when we move to proof of stake slash masternodes. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. All the links will be in the description below, but I'll run you through basically what you need to do in order to start mining. Now, I'm going to be mining on an Nvidia GPU. Now, Quark is CPU mineable, but I really wouldn't advise it. It's a GPU really only mineable at this kind of stage. CPU mining is possible, but the hash rate is so low compared to GPUs, it's really not worth it. So first thing you need to do is download a wallet. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see they've got wallets for most platforms. So 3 different Linux wallets, a Windows and OS X. I grabbed the Windows 64-bit. That's the machine that I've been mining on. And then the other thing I should have mentioned at the beginning was that there is an announcement thread here on Bitcoin Talk, which you can have a look through if you're interested. But the first thing you need to do is download a wallet. So whichever kind of machine you're on, you need to download the equivalent kind of wallet. So I grabbed the Windows 64-bit, as I mentioned. The other thing you need to do is grab some mining software. Now I put links to mining software for CPUs, AMD GPUs, and Nvidia GPUs. Now I'm going to be setting this up on an Nvidia GPU, but the process is broadly similar for AMD graphics cards as well. And as I mentioned before, I really wouldn't recommend CPU mining at this stage. So grab the link from below. Now what I'll jump over quickly now is just show you the 2 pools. So there's 2 pools currently up and running. There's Minepool, which is minepool.net, and there's also minepool.online. Now I would recommend Minepool. It's got a far higher hash rate than Minepool, so you'll be hitting blocks a lot more regularly on this, but you can check out both pools. It doesn't really matter which one you go for. If you do go for Minepool, you'll be hitting blocks less frequently, but your reward or your share of the reward will be bigger. Anyway, this is what Minepool looks like, but let's jump over onto the mining machine and we can show you how it's all set up. So just jumping over via TeamViewer. So apologies, ignore the clutter on this screen. I usually run this at 4K. I've just scaled down for doing this video, but this is what the Helix wallet looks like. So this is the Helix core wallet, the 64-bit, very much like many other kind of wallets you'll have seen, particularly staking and Masternode wallets. Now a lot of this functionality isn't live yet, so you've got the Masternode section. Under settings, you've got the ability to unlock the wallet for staking and stuff like that. But download the wallet. It will only take a few minutes to catch up to date. We are currently on block 32,350, so it won't take that long to catch up with that. And then, as always with a new wallet, encrypt your wallet, store the password somewhere safe, then the wallet will restart. And then the other thing you need to do basically is to just get an address from your wallet for sending your mining rewards to. So go to File and Receiving Addresses. You can either add new addresses, or you can just copy the one that's already in there. But you just literally right click and copy the address, and then we will need that to put it into the mining software. Now this is what happens after you've downloaded the mining software. So this is the Nvidia Miner. It's actually just CC Miner, and it's the quark enabled edition. So it has to, if you're using another version or a different version of CC Miner, it has to have the quark algorithm enabled on that particular version. Now the other thing that people sometimes have problems with is Windows, particularly Windows 10, deleting mining software, wallets, stuff like that. So what you need to do if that does happen is you go down to your Windows Defender, click on Virus and Threat Protection, and then you go to this first link, Virus and Threat Protection Settings, scroll down and go to Exclusions. So you see here, Add or Remove Exclusions. So click on that, and then you just add an exclusion. So what I will do for a program like this is go to Folder. So you click on Folder, you navigate to where you downloaded your Helix Nvidia Miner. Mine's just on the desktop, so you navigate through to that. Click to add the exception. It'll then have a little pop-up say, are you sure you want to add this as an exception? And then basically what that means is that Windows Defender won't go through and delete the software. What can happen is that you have a folder like this that has all the kind of different files apart from the actual ccminer.exe. It can also happen with some wallets and stuff like that as well. So if you are having that issue, sometimes you need to momentarily turn off your virus protection completely, download it, and then add that to the exclusions. Now, as always, be very, very careful with anything you download off the internet. I'm not saying that these are kind of safe. I've had no problems with the this kind of miner that I'm linking for below, but there is always the possibility that somebody can kind of hack a link jack, stuff like that in the future. So be careful, always on the side of caution. So anyway, once you've grabbed your miner, you'll have a folder basically with a few different files in it like this, and you'll have one called run-helix.cmd. Now all we're going to do is edit that to put in the pool information and the wallet address. So if you just go to edit that, you can edit it with Notepad, and then you basically see just this very simple command. Now the other thing I always do is put hit return at the end of that command, and on a new line put the word pause. And basically this means that if you actually run this and there is an issue maybe with the with the convention, so say you've mistyped something or something like that, often you'll double click it to start and it will just immediately shut down. You don't know exactly what the problem is. If you if you put a new line and then put pause, it will stop at that point and you'll be able to read the errors from the miner. And just to give you an example of that, if I just put, like, say an E at the end of the word quark, so as if we'd misspelt the algorithm, I'll just save that and I'll show you what happens when we run it. So we double click to run that, and as you can see here, it's run down to here, and then it's gone unknown algo parameter quark E, and then basically we can see that. So we go, oh, that's not right, we've got a typo there, so press any key to continue. So if you didn't have the pause, it would just immediately close down. You wouldn't know exactly what the issue was. So we'll just edit that back to quark. So the default version, I always put with all my mining software another line with pause on, but basically all you need to do is add your mining pool, stratum. So these I've linked below, but if you actually go to the mining pools, you'll see here, look, here's a CC miner, here's the line that you need. So the great thing about the Minepool and Minepool as well is that you don't need to set up an account, anything like that. You just use your mining address as the username. So this is our address we grabbed from the wallet earlier, so -u and then a space and then that's your wallet address, and then everything else can be left as default. So the only thing you need to be aware of, make sure you've got Quark as the algorithm, make sure the Stratum server is set correctly for the pool you want to use, make sure your wallet address is correct, and then everything else it should run fine, from that. So let's just save that. And then to run the miner, just literally double click it. Excuse me. So if you don't have any issues, this is basically what you will see. I haven't configured, I'm not running any particular settings for this at the moment. I do when I actually kind of run it, but just to show you how it kind of works. So you'll see through, it will go through and then you'll see some stats for your GPU. So this is a 1080 Ti. You'll see it's, give it a few minutes and it will start kind of running, and then we should start to get some shares accepted. So what I will do is just pause the video very briefly, and then I'll let it run for a minute or two, and then we can come back and have a look at some of those shares being accepted. Hi, so it's been a few minutes now. You can see here that there are some shares just starting to be accepted. Something quite strange happened actually. So I paused the video, I was going to leave it for a few minutes, and then the phone went, and I came back and Minepool was actually down momentarily. So what I did was switched over to Minepool, and if you see here in the folder, so I've set up two different setup files here. One's for Minepool, one's for Minepool. And Minepool is by far the largest pool at the moment. But what happened, it went down sort of momentarily. So I stopped that window and opened it up on Minepool. And I suddenly got, I think because Minepool had gone down for a little bit, and there was only then therefore quite a small amount of hash rate on the kind of network, and I then got, I think it was something like 90 shares accepted within about sort of 40 seconds, and then Minepool came back online. So you can see here the shares are starting to go through now. If we jump back to the pool software, and the only other thing I wanted to show you was if you put your address into the top right, so you can then see that it's kind of running. So you can see I did a test yesterday when I was about to do this video yesterday, but it was a little bit busy, and you can see here this is just recently, so the hash rate's just kind of popped back up. So it'll give you your all your kind of figures at the top, so unconfirmed, confirmed, pending, total amounts that you've used, and you can just double check that your worker is running. So you can see here there's a small amount here, 0.42 that I earned yesterday afternoon. I switched it on for a few minutes to double check that everything was running before I did the video. But anyway, that's just something to be aware of. So that's something you can also do. So if you set them up for both the mining pools, then you can switch quite easily between the two. So if I shut down the one on Minepool and just double click that one on Minepool, this will then just open up. You can see here at the top Minepool, and you can see the shares being accepted. Difficulty very, very low on this because there's not much hash rate on this kind of pool. But if one pool does go down, particularly if Minepool goes down, then it does mean you can jump on and potentially get some decent rewards while everybody's hash rate is being kind of wasted. The only other thing I wanted to mention briefly was if we go back to the actual pools, bear with me 1 second. So let's go back to the Helix pool. You can see here, so network hash rate 918 gig hashes a second currently. Now when it first went live, a lot of people were buying hash power on NiceHash. So I was lucky, I was there on the official kind of developers pool. So they had set up a pool which isn't actually live at the moment. So it was just a sort of like a kind of test pool until these kind of commercial pools got up and running. But I was running on that right at the beginning and received like a load of rewards right at the beginning, and then after that, within a matter of half an hour or an hour, lots of people going to NiceHash and buying out all the Quark hash rate and then redirecting it. So this figure here, the network hash rate has been up many times higher than this. So that's something to be aware of. It seems to have stabilized now. It's not too bad at the kind of moment. It seems to stabilize anywhere between that sort of 500 and 1,000 gigahashes a second. But that's something to be aware of, particularly if you are buying on NiceHash. So keep an eye on the kind of hash rate. When the hash rate drops down a lot, that's the time to kind of buy in. Or even if you've got kind of mining rigs, when the hash rate is kind of low. And as I said, it has steadied out over the last sort of week or two. I think there's less people buying in right at the kind of beginning. I think the people that were interested in sort of developing kind of masternodes and mining enough to set up masternodes when that goes live did so kind of earlier on. So it seems to have stabilized a little bit now, but that's something else you can be aware of if you are interested in a coin like this, any kind of like new kind of coin like this, but you don't have kind of mining rigs yourself. You can jump onto kind of NiceHash or something like that and point those rigs at your address. Anyway, that's it for today. If there was anything that wasn't clear, please let me know in the comments below and I'll try to answer. As I said, this particular setup video was specifically for Nvidia, but the AMD setup is pretty much the same. I do have an AMD card in my old burst mining rig, and I set it up. That's an old 580 RX 580, and I set it up on that as well. The hash rate was very low, but it did work perfectly with the software that I will be linking below. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Let me know if you want more kind of mining videos in the future. As I said, I've stopped really GPU mining fairly, recently over the last few months because of the decrease in profitability. But if you are interested in me trying to find new coins that might have kind of potential and getting in early, let me know and I will try and do some more of those kind of videos going forward. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Ask me anything in the comments below and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye bye.